Cybercriminals are not just evolving, they're becoming enterprising. And by that, I mean they're adopting business-like models, optimizing for efficiency, scale, and profit. They're outsourcing capabilities, collaborating across ecosystems, and running operations with levels of discipline and speed we've traditionally associated with legitimate companies. %80 of threats we saw this year were essentially malware-free, leveraging remote tools, valid credentials, and identity-based access. In many cases, they're walking through the front door using stolen credentials or worse, trusted third-party access.
From a SOC analyst perspective, the use of stolen creds can look completely normal if you're relying on static, condition-based SIEM rules. Whereas Splunk's user behavior analytics detects subtle anomalies, unusual logins, shared account use, and actions that fall outside a user's normal behavior. And my favorite, risk-based alerting. Pulling in context from endpoints and identity and cloud, it prioritizes and escalates alerts based on actual risk. It works like a threat scorecard, tracking all the signals it generates, even the small ones. Scores accumulate over time, and when they cross the threshold, the system escalates. That way, lots of minor events that wouldn't normally be triggered or get flagged on their own is now there with the context of related activity.
Threat actors are abusing everything from third-party remote tools to application tokens, misconfigured service credentials, all of which provide just enough access to move quietly and quickly.
Credential theft and compromise is just the start. The next stage is often privilege escalation. An attacker pivots from a standard account to an admin account and gains system-wide access. Splunk needs to detect those early warning signs, those abnormal access patterns, that privilege change, before the lateral movement takes hold. That early visibility is critical to containing compromise before it spreads.
Identity is the new target, and it's under constant attack. And this isn't just a tech problem anymore, it's a people problem.
CISOs and their teams are under constant pressure to protect more, detect faster, and respond smarter, often with less.
And when everything looks urgent, nothing gets prioritized. That's exactly the environment attackers thrive in. Many organizations are still exposed through legacy and supply chain risk, outdated system, unpatched devices, and third-party vendors. These remain some of the weakest links even in most modern environments. What's needed is clear visibility across identities, endpoints, cloud workloads, and the tools in between. And more importantly, the ability to understand how those pieces connect, where the gaps are, and where attackers are most likely to exploit them. That's where modern integrated detection and response really matters. Not just surfacing threats, but telling the story behind them, in time to do something about it.
What does the CISO need to know about how Splunk performs under pressure? That's a really good question. Splunk's trusted by really large organizations around the world to handle petabytes of data a day and to retain that for a really long period of time. We scale from the desktop to the data center to cloud and beyond. That can be our SaaS service, which you can host in AWS, GCP or Azure, or your own cloud provider or your own tin on-prem.
The reason the Smarttech and Splunk partnership works really well is because actually we work together, all the brains on the table at the same time to help solve the customer problem now and into the future. So that's important, but also Smarttech's investment in Splunk as a technology is really important as well. So, those two things combined mean that, we're going to ultimately deliver the right outcomes for customers.
At Smarttech, we're really proud to be an Elite Splunk partner. More than the partnership itself is how the two companies work together, because we have a very good operating model. Smarttech's technology Vision X, gives great visibility around what's happening from Splunk perspective and is absolutely complementary to Splunk and Splunk enterprise security. But really the most important thing that really works for me from this partnership perspective is the culture. The companies share a common culture, we share a common set of values, and we share a focus on putting a customer first, really understanding what our customer is facing and helping the customer face up to those challenges from a cybersecurity perspective.
So where does that leave us? If organizations want to keep pace with today's threat actors, they need more than platforms and policies. They need precision. It starts with the right telemetry, rich, relevant data from across your environment tied to identity, behavior, and context, not just alerts. It takes a risk-based approach to security, one that prioritizes threats by impact, not by volume. It takes a resilience mindset designed not just to block threats, but to detect, respond, and recover fast. Staying ahead of cybercriminals means making decisions based on real exposure and focusing on what's actually being targeted: identity, cloud infrastructure, and sensitive data.